उपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् निषसीदगणपते गणेशुत्वामा आहुर्विप्रतमं कवीनां न ऋते त्वत्क्रियते किञ्चनारे महामर्कं मघवं चित्रमर्च अभिख्यानो मघवन्नाधमानान् सखे बोधिवसुपते सखीनां रणं कृधिरणकृत् सत्यसुष्मा भक्ते चिदा भजराये अस्मान् ओम शांति शांति शांति. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. C.M. Pradyumna. I am a practicing Ayurveda Acharya from India, originally from Bangalore in South India. Now I have settled in Calcutta. I have an Ayurveda clinic there, and presently happy to say that both the Vice President Maharajs are being treated in my institution, and they are benefiting well for their conditions that require medical attention. I usually come once in 6 months to the USA for lecture tours and consultation sessions. This time when I was leaving for the tour, Maharaj's treatment was going on, so they recommended like I give a small talk here, and I'm here now. Yeah. Ayurveda and yoga. You are aware of these two sciences. Ayurveda and yoga are the sister sciences in the Vedic philosophy. Our life exists in 3 planes superimposed on each other, if we have to look at it that way. The body, the mind, and the Atman. The biological body, the material body, and the psychological self, and the spiritual plane of existence. Our mind and our body can exist in the domains of health and disease. Mind and body can be healthy or ill. So the 2 planes of existence in our life, the mind and body, they can fall in the domain of health and disease. And the third one, the most important one, the spiritual plane, is neither subject to disease or destruction or illness, or it is all effulgent, all energetic. It is complete. So we cannot treat it. We can only realize it. It is beyond treatment. The spiritual self, the spiritual plane of existence is beyond treatment, and no doctor can do anything, tweak or anything. We only have to get into self-realization. So we are left with the mind and body, which need support. So the Vedic science has given us 2 sister sciences. Why I say sister sciences is they are grammatically similar. Today we try to interpret the allopathic system in the yogic terms, or yoga methodology in sports medicine. We see some conflict there because philosophically they are different. But Ayurveda and yoga, they gel so very well because they are the sister sciences, and they come from one fundamental basis, that is the yogic science, Vedic science. So why Ayurveda? I am here to talk about the clinical nature of Ayurveda. We know Ayurveda as home remedies. We know Ayurveda as something which can help us, find remedies for common illnesses. But Ayurveda is a larger science. It is a clinically time-tested, comprehensive system of healthcare. It is a complete system of healthcare. It has its own methods of diagnosis, methods of treatment, remedial measures at the plane of the mind and body. And as the Veda is the mother of many sciences, many cultures across the world, Ayurveda is the mother of, or the forerunner of many systems of healthcare in the world. Previously, thousands of years ago, the population,
Sorry, we disturbed you. This
no,
was
no,
one.
not at all.
This song is coming. This one. If you bring this one, but this song is coming. Thank you.
Since thousands of years, we see different civilizations which developed in different pockets across the world. Some did communicate with each other, some did not. So what happened? The basic science, which was having a rock solid foundation, existing since time immemorial, the knowledge gradually spread. When the knowledge started spreading, the fundamentals of Ayurveda, along with the materia medica of locally available herbs and food stuff, they started evolving into different systems of healthcare elsewhere, outside India. Today, I am talking about Ayurveda as the first line of treatment. Ayurveda finds a need, has scientific relevance, and is aggressively researched upon. All the herbs, all the methods are being subject to good research, and what comes out of the research is both good and not so good for Ayurveda. Why? Because if you know Tulsi, it is having such high therapeutic values. So use Tulsi as Tulsi and you can see its application in plenty of disorders. But if you start picking a molecule from that, find out the therapeutic value of that, and give it a different chemical identity, chemical name for that molecule, you need not associate that molecule with Tulsi and give credit to Tulsi or Ayurveda anymore. So what happens? It goes into the pharmaceutical industry. So this has been happening. The herbs have been researched, molecules have been picked, they have been patented and being marketed as a different chemical or molecule altogether. We can't do anything about it. That's the commercial aspect of it. So, diet and lifestyle. Where do diseases come from? The simplest is our environment, our diet, our lifestyle, our thoughts, sometimes through genetic inheritance of negative traits, and of course there is one last thing known as trauma. So these are some of the areas from which we do get illnesses. So diet and lifestyle forms a very major chunk of our exposure to illnesses. So in diet and lifestyle, if we follow the tenets of Ayurveda and yoga, they are both simple, practical, doable. You can inculcate these tips in our daily living, and we can discover how easy it is to maintain good health. Today we see so much of progress in the diagnostic methods. We can interpret the progress of Ayurvedic medicine on a patient using these diagnostic tools. Be it radiological studies, be it biochemical parameters for diagnosis, everything can be interpreted. So why Ayurveda? We already have a robust system of healthcare known as the allopathic system of healthcare. Are we relevant anymore? Yes, we are relevant, because are you aware of these three biological energies known as Vata, Pitta and Kapha? Some of us are, some of us aren't aware. Our body is governed by three energies known as Vata, which is the representation of the space and air element. Akasha and Vayu Tattva represent Vata, and they govern the neurological and hormonal aspects of our body. Then comes the Pitta. The Pitta system governs the metabolic activities in the body. And the Kapha system is necessary, and it governs the immunological status and structural aspects of our human biological system. So this is the functioning of Vata, Pitta and Kapha in our daily life, in our biological existence. But when they get deranged, what happens? When Vata gets deranged, it translates into degenerative disorders in the body and anxiety related disorders in the mind. Vayu and Akasha, especially Vayu Tattva, is Rajo Bahulo Vayuhu. We know the three gunas, the Sattva, Raja and Tama. We are aware, we are familiar with these three concepts of Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Sattva is the pure energetic state of existence of mind. There is clarity of thought, there is wisdom. You can keep absorbing knowledge in the state of Sattva. If this is the plane of Sattva, we have the state of Rajas. The Rajasic state of mind is the anxiety, activity. This is the anxiety state of mind. Then comes the third state, which is a depressive state of mind, which is known as Tamasic. Sattva is the energetic self. Rajoguna is the active state of mind or a state of anxiety if deranged. And Tamas is inertia, inactivity, lethargy, depression. You call all the kinds of slowdowns are coming under the Tamasic system. So what we need to do, we need to maintain through the tenets of Ayurveda and Yoga the Sattvic state of mind. Stressors which are affecting us, various stress causing aspects, first it starts with a state of anxiety, then when you can't achieve or when the stress becomes persistent, you go into a state of depression or lethargy. This is something which is continuously happening to us. So what can be done about it? What can be done about it? Good dietetics and good lifestyle aspects, if we follow, it is sufficient to take care of our health largely. So we are also familiar with Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga has 8 steps. It's not branches, 8 steps. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Largely, the Yogasana, Asana part is representing yoga. But yoga is something larger than asana only. Asana was meant to stabilize the body for long hours of meditation. Long hours of meditation, your body needs to be stable. So, asana is one component which stabilizes the body. Then comes the pranayama, by which we can control our mind. Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And Ayurveda being a medical science, this is in Charaka Samhita, we can see the Ashtanga Ayurveda. Ayurveda has 8 branches because it is too vast a system of healthcare. So there were specialization. There are specializations in Ayurveda. We call it as the Kaya, Bala, Graha, Urdhvanga, Shalya, Damshra, Jara, Vrisha.